Would you believe me if I told you that the Jews came up with the same calculation as we did for the start of the end of the world? This is crazy. Check this out. Get out your calculator because we're going to do some math here in a second.
Who understands King Solomon's words in a remarkable way. He says that what King Solomon is actually doing is telling us that all 6,000 years of Jewish history are divided up into 28 seasons.
The scripture that the Rabbi Lawrence is talking about, Ecclesiastes 3, there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And then he proceeds to list a time to born, a time to die, which is like the famous one everyone's heard of, right? So if you count the number of times here in Ecclesiastes, it totals 28. Now here's where it gets really interesting. According to rabbinical Jewish sources, the latest year for the Messiah or Mashiach to appear is 6,000 years from creation. So if you take 6,000 years of creation and divide them into 28 seasons, you get 214.285 years for each season. And if you subtract 214 from 6,000, you get 5786, which is actually the upcoming Jewish year according to the Jewish calendar. And guess when that year starts? Rosh Hashanah, the Feast of Trumpets, in 2025. But here's where it gets really interesting. We have to go back to that season. What is that final season that King Solomon talks about? A time for peace. A time for peace. Interesting. So we're getting ready to enter, or actually have already entered, the time for peace. Now, if we take that fraction and we calculate what day of the year that would have started, you actually get 101 days. And if you subtract 101 days from the beginning of the Jewish New Year of 5786, you get June 13. And on June 13, the 12-day war started. It actually gets more mind-blowing because if we entered into the time of peace on June 13, we know that in Zechariah 1:11, when the men are sent out to survey the land, to go throughout the earth, they reported back to the Lord that they have gone throughout the earth and found that the whole world was at rest and in peace. So we just entered the time of peace. What happens after that? In Revelation 6, Jesus opens the first of the 7 seals, and we know that in the beginning of the tribulation, the first 4 seals are the 4 horses that were mentioned in Zechariah. So we have the white one, the red one, the black one, and the pale or the green one. This is the beginning of the Great Tribulation. This is the beginning of God's wrath. What happens while they're saying peace and safety? Well, we know from 1 Thessalonians 5:3 that while people are saying peace and safety, destruction will come upon them suddenly as labor pains on a pregnant woman, and they will not escape. That is the rapture. While the Jews have calculated that the Messiah is supposed to come any day now, we have calculated that our Messiah, Jesus Christ, is coming for his bride. And what are the odds that the calculation is the exact same season? We are there, guys. Jesus is coming. Get right with him. Accept him into your heart. If you confess with your mouth Jesus is Lord and believe in your heart God raised him from the dead, you will be saved.